Welcome to Comfort Time with Aunty Yunike. This story is an encounter with an angel, not as experienced by me, but as experienced by a very close friend of mine. I'm sure you just watched the other video of an encounter with an angel in which I was involved. So this is something that I really value, and something that I think we should all look out for. Sometimes we encounter angels and are not even aware. These angelic beings are around us, and we should tap into their help. They want to be with us, but can only do so when we ask. So my story starts with a friend of mine who had to travel to Italy. He was going there for a course for 3 months, and you know, as Catholics, Italy is our base. So everything Catholic, everything that is huge happens in Italy at the Vatican. So now my friend embarks on this journey and is very excited, got all the papers in place, all things that he needed to go and do his training. Then he gets to Italy and he realizes at the airport that he doesn't have the envelope where which gave him the address of where he should be going, doesn't have the envelope where there's the documentation of who he is at the meeting where he's going. He could, you know how it happens that you have something, you attach so much importance to it, and then when you are leaving, you don't pick that, and now when you reach your destination, you can see it at the back of your mind. You can actually see the envelope or the paper on the table back home, and you're so far away. So now he was like, okay, now what? So gets off the plane and goes to the bus stop to see if I can meet maybe one of the friends from other countries who were coming for the same course, so that he could talk to them and he could go with them. But he stood there for quite some time and there was no one. So then a bus came that had a name that was very similar to a name of the town that he thought he was supposed to have gone to. So he got on that bus and went all the way up to the end of the town. Got off the bus and now he was getting hungry. So he decided, okay, let me get some food. He got into a restaurant, got himself some piece of pizza and some coffee. And if you've been to Italy, you know that it's not everybody who speaks English. So now it became very difficult for him to ask about where he was and if anybody knew where this school was, and nobody understood what he was saying. So it was now even getting slightly dark, and now he was getting scared and getting very, very worried. So he sits to eat his lunch or dinner, whatever it was, a piece of pizza and some coffee. And then he decides, this is how I am so lost in a strange country, and this is how only God can get me out of here. So he starts now to pray, and he had closed his eyes. So he prayed and prayed and asked God to please help him, that he didn't know how he was going to find his place, and he has no way of explaining to anybody, because his idea was, I just get the envelope, I show someone, they read and they tell me where to go, or they guide me to a bus that I should get on. But now he didn't have that. So he closed his eyes and prayed. He prayed, said amen, and opened his eyes and he saw from a distance a lady who was talking to some other ladies. So she looked friendly and she looked like someone you could talk to. So he was getting his things together so that he could go and talk to her. And then before he could even get up, she came to him and said, "Hello, you look lost. Are you new to this place?" And he was like, "Yeah, actually I am lost. I'm from Zambia. I'm supposed to be going for my training, but I thought the bus I got on coming here was the bus I should have been on. But now I look like I'm seeing like I'm in a village, and I really don't know where I am or how to ask." He was like, "Oh, okay, you are here for a training for how long?" He said, "Oh, about 3 months," and she explained what the training was about. She was like, "I know where you're supposed to be. That school is way, way out of this place. You've come to the wrong side of the country. You should have actually been going on the opposite direction. But don't worry, I'll escort you. Let's go. There's a last bus going to that town just now, so we shouldn't miss it." So he was so grateful. Picks his things together, goes with her, they get on a bus, and that's how they went. It took them about an hour actually, it was quite far. So when they were getting to the school, to the reception, it was actually getting a little bit dark. So that lady explained to the receptionist, "This is a student from Zambia. He needs to get into I think he's booked here and his training is for so long. So can you check if you have his details?" They asked for his passport, so he took out his passport and gave them. They checked, they are like, "Yes, you are booked here and your room is number so, so, so." So that's how he got his things together, got now the keys for his room, and was so, so grateful, and now wanted to say thank you to the lady. And so he turned and the lady was not there. So now he was like, okay, he called the receptionist. One of them could speak a little bit of English. So he's like, "Okay, the lady that I was with, where has she gone?" Then they were like, "Which lady?" He was like, "No, the lady that I came with, the one who was explaining to you about my situation, about my being lost." And says, "No, you didn't come here with anybody. You were alone." Says, "No, the one that was explaining to you so that I could actually give you my passport for you." Says, "No, we just asked for your passport. You gave us your passport. We told you which room you were going to." And then he was like, okay. Now it dawned on him that that was an angel who brought him all the way to where he was. And now that she had done her job, she had gone. And you know, this brought to mind, I'm sure most of us remember the story of an angel in the UK. Remember there was that rapist who was raping women in the tunnel. And this lady was also going through that tunnel, because apparently it was nearer when you go through the tunnel to go to the next town. So she went through the tunnel, and she knew that it was dangerous at that point to go through the tunnel, but she embarked on prayer and hoping that that day the rapist would not be in that place. So she was praying, really asking God to protect her, to be with her, and she went through the tunnel still deep in prayer. And then she saw that man in the tunnel standing and just watching her. So she got so scared, but she continued praying and praying and continued going right through. So as she went right through the tunnel, got to the other side, she was so grateful. And then later on in the paper, there was a story of how a woman less than 30 minutes after she passed through, had been raped. So she got very curious and she was like, no, I saw the man. I know the man who was there. He was very rough. So she wanted to go and find out what was going on. How come he left her alone? So she went to the police station and asked, I want to see the rapist. And they were like, okay. So she went and saw him and she asked him, says, you, I saw you last night. Why didn't you harm me? And he was like, how could I? You had these two heavy guys, one on your right, one on your left, as you were crossing. There was no way I could have gotten to you when you were with them. So it was not possible. And that's when it dawned on her. It was on social media, it was everywhere. I'm sure we all remember that story. So that just goes to show that these angelic beings are there. We just need to ask. Just ask for their intervention, ask for their guidance, ask for them to be with you. And the help is they are at our beck and call. So I just thought I should share even that story, because I shared already my story. And then my friend shared his story. And I was like, you know what? We don't have to really get lost. We don't need to be traumatized about anything. Just ask for the angelic interventions. The angelic beings are ready and willing to help us all the time. I hope this is going to open you up to being more observant and to being free to ask for help when you need it. Please continue to like, share, and I hope you have already subscribed. Those who have already subscribed, thank you. Those who are yet to, please do it and put a smile on my face. Thank you.